Welcome back to another NHL team breakdown. We have Mr. Enortap, the co-host of this episode. And today we talk about Winnipeg Jets, Mr. Enortap. Another team, not your favorite team, but it's a team you like to follow up.
Absolutely. I enjoy their style of play. It's unfortunate, coach, that over the last little while, even though every year, if you look at we're going to look at it in a little while, but they've increased their points. And last year, I think they had a fantastic year at about 110 points. And it's unfortunate that it hasn't produced to playoff wins. And we'll get into some of the reasons why.
Yes, because prior to that, there was 95 point and 89 point 2 years ago. So you can see some kind of improvement. Another team right now is transforming the roster. They lost Brendan Dillon. They not resign a Monahan at 240. And they lost the goaltender, backup number 2, Le Bronsois, who have a really great year, backup number 2. I see for his number, the best backup number 2 in NHL last season. And they lost also Schmidt, the defenseman, kept now with the Fleur Panthers. But they only bring Mr. Enortap, Miller and the goaltender Comrie and Kakkonen. For any Winnipeg Jets fans, the only thing you don't want to see is an injury of Alibak, the great goaltender NHL. If you look about the NHL draft 2024, not too bad for them. They did pretty good overall, but because they put the trade deadline, tried to create a better team for the playoff, they trade for Sean Monahan. They have to give the first round pick to the Montreal Canadiens. The Montreal Canadiens got Michael Edge. But on other fact, they have another big problem, and we're talking about McCordy. What we at with that situation? What do you think could happen with that prospect?
Well, it's a tough one to gauge, right? I think the whole thing with McGroarty, they're exploring different possibilities in terms of perhaps trading him. At the end of the day, I don't see it happening. The problem is, at least not at the beginning of the season. It could perhaps happen, coach, during the course of the year. When you look at first two lines, you got Scheifele with Connor and Velarde, which is your solid number one line. And then you have Ehlers with, I think now Perfetti will jump into the wing on the second line, and maybe somebody like Nemesnikov will be the center there.
But right there, Mr.
Lowry,
Tap, is a big problem right there. This is you nail
right.
it right there. This is what I feel the departure of Monahan is going to hurt the Winnipeg Jet, because you can see the stat on this graphic, right? We have only 5, and the reason why, because we don't know the top 6. We don't know it's going to be the number 6 forward. It could be a center, and you cannot move Adam Laurie. I think Laurie play a specific role as the third line and make that team better at that position for them with Appleton or Barron on his left side. This is a big concern for the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And again, even though we saw improvement in Cole Perfetti's performance last year, he was really playing out of his chair. Like Perfetti was selected high, and so this is a player that ideally should be in your top 6. Last year, because they had quite a nice log jam there, he was playing mostly on the third line and sometimes even on the fourth, and was sitting on certain nights as well. And that's not a good way to develop your prospects. I think when we go back to McGroarty and address that, I think that's sort of what he sees in the horizon, and he sees that that second line is taken up on the wings by Ehlers and Perfetti. So where does that put him? It puts him either on the third line or not playing as often as I think he thinks he could play on the team and contribute. I think if Cheveldayoff can pull off a nice trade, it's something that he will explore, but I don't think he's going to push it. I think he's content with waiting for his return to be substantial. And if it is, he'll pull the trigger. Otherwise, I think he's holding the cards here. I don't think McGroarty has a lot to go on here.
He's a patient GM, right? He's always wait at the right opportunity. And is there some time? Look, they were supposed to trade Alibak and Scheifele 2 years ago, and look what happening. They keep them around. And I said McCarthy is going to sign with them, but he can wait the patient card for the next couple of months, and he's going to be anyway in NCAA. That's not fix the problem right they have. The good news for them, they have a couple other players coming, like Lambert is one of them. Would be interesting if you can
Yeah,
make the team for upcoming year. It's a late first round pick, and Barlow is another one they have with Villardi. Villardi, we consider him a prospect. He's only 23 years old, 24 years old, and I feel like he's going to be a big part of the upcoming. The problem with Villardi, Mr. Tap, is like
injury.
exactly. So you have to be careful. My other concern for them is for the Jet is about the defenseman. After Maurici, you have a down after that. Pionk, DeMelo, they have Miller. That's what they have. Now they have a couple of young prospect defensemen, been there for a couple of years, but not talking about Sandberg and Logan
And Henela.
Stanley. And then on the prospect side, Vanilla, it never been that kind of defenseman they was expect to become an NHL. Put this all together, Mr. Tap, this is where I'm a little bit concerned. No center number two, and the top four defensemen is not great, in my opinion. And the only way can save them is Alebak. If you look about the summer 2025, they have a couple of answers to figure out because now they are Pionk, Eller, Yafalo, and Appleton are going to become UFA. A couple of other players at the bottom, the depth is going to be RFA. But this is a team, Mr. Tap, where they are really great on the defensive side of the game. Finish second on the goal again average. And then you have the goal for is 15. But the special team, Mr. Tap, this is what I'm a little bit concerned for them. They have a lot of great players like Sheffley, Connors, and Morrissey, Heller. They can put a
Yeah,
Villardi, they can put a puck in the net. Now, we have to remember Connor missed approximately 15 game last season, 17 game, and that will hurt the
yeah.
power play, definitely. But hopefully, Connors can come back to score over 45 goals like he did for the last two seasons prior to that. 23, 24. Finally, if you look about the what is missing, it's missing everything about the goaltender backup number two, a top four defenseman, and a center number two. And that's the reason I feel like for me, the projection of the 110 last year, they did 296 for upcoming season. I still them battle for the wild card this year compared last season because the Nashville Predator, I feel they're going to be in front of the Winnipeg Jet, and they're going to battle. In my opinion, like the Kings. I don't see the Wild will push the Jet yet, and I think that's the reason I see them as a wild card. So, finishing this episode of the NHL draft breakdown of the Winnipeg Jet, give us your last overview of the Winnipeg Jet for upcoming season.
Well, they were in quite a situation, Coach. I agree with you. I think now that you have Colorado, Dallas, and Nashville, who I think is going to perform very well this year with some of the acquisitions that they made, I'm pretty much like short of injuries. I'm pretty much sure that those three teams will finish in the top of the division. So, as you said, if Winnipeg is going to make the playoffs, it's going to be as a wild card. I think when you're looking at Shovel Day off, I mean, I think he did a good job to not get saddled down, by some long-term albatross kind of contracts. But unfortunately, it meant him losing guys that he had. I think he really wanted to maintain Monahan. It was a nice fit. He helped their power play immensely. Believe it or not, it was worse than we see there at 22 before he went over. He was the perfect bumper player on the power play. And, he was also a leader, right? A team leader, a guy that led by example. And so to lose him and then Brendan Dillon, and I think that at one point they tried to get Enrique as well, but were not successful. I see overall, I see a team that's improved on, hasn't really improved on paper when you look at the roster that they had last year versus this year. And they also lost to Foley, of course, who maybe wasn't having a great year in Winnipeg, but I think overall he was having a good year. And he could have bounced back this year if they had signed him, but the money wasn't there. I think they're still okay cap wise, so that should help a little bit. They got finally Wheeler and Nate Schmidt off their books. It cost them quite a bit to have him on this long, but I don't see them fitting into the first three spots in their division. If they're lucky, they will get the second wild card in my eyes.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's on the team right now. The the window's closing, right? There's a term in our case said that the window's closed. You have to take
Yeah,
advantage of everything. I think he put everything at the at the trade deadline last year, like I mentioned to you, and he was trying to go deep on the third round because it was an open wide situation of the Western Conference last season to reach the final Stanley Cup. Edmonton did it, but it was so many team could join, and I think the Winnipeg Jet was one of the favorite team also with Manahan, Toffoli, and Alibak, and then the other player they have around. So it'll be interesting what the new head coach Scott Arniel is going to do. Like you said, is it will be a wild card, in my opinion, for the upcoming season 24, 25 in NHL. So that's conclude another NHL breakdown of this. It was the Winnipeg Jets. We appreciate Mr. Enortap to be with us on that team, and hopefully see you the next time when we're going to talk about another NHL breakdown. And for the next 32 days, we're going to talk about each team, what they're going to do for the upcoming season. Until the next time, don't forget, please, to subscribe, click on the likes, and of course, remember, you have greatness inside of you, and we wish you an amazing, great, blessed day, everybody.